first and foremost, this is awesome to be here, and let me just say it was my honor and privilege meeting you a few days ago, so let's let the records be established here correctly. And now we're standing between these folks and drinks, so we're going to either have to do something really interesting or keep it brief. So these have been like the most exciting past few weeks in my entire career. I joined WeWork to lead their global Powered by We services business. And I tell my wife that every single morning I'm excited, I feel pregnant with possibility, chock full of potential. It's just you feel like you're in this moment, in this time, in this season in our industry where there's so much going on, so much innovation, so much capital, and then to be on a platform that seems to be one of the vessels of that is just really, really awesome. So just to be clear what Powered by We is, it has really taken all of what WeWork has perfected over the past 8 years and really understanding the way people use space through design and construction and operating the space and really taking that out of our properties and bringing it to our client properties. So it no longer is that you have to come to WeWork to have the experience and the culture and the excitement of what can happen in space. We can bring it to you. And so we're now designing, constructing, building, developing, operating, bringing the full suite of services to occupiers around the world.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And you have a traditional corporate real estate background, right?
Yeah, that sounds boring. Right, exactly. Trust me, I was not wearing T-shirts and tennis shoes in any of my earlier roles. It's like, if you wear a suit to this place, I mean, you're just looking.
What did you do with all the suits?
So I think I've gained another 5 years of shelf life on those suits.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
They're not being worn. So I spent most of my career in corporate services. And I've had just some phenomenal experiences. In fact, I'm looking across the sea here, and I see some faces because you guys have been doing this for a long time too. Started my career with Trammell Crow, CBRE, then went on and had some really wonderful experiences running those businesses for other organizations. Ran it for Cassidy Turley, and then ran the U.S. for Colliers, brokerage, capital markets, property management. So I feel like I've just kind of grown up. My wonder years were in the real estate services space. And then my last role was CEO of corporate services for Newmark. And so those have just been wonderful experiences in that I think I've seen just where the pain points are in the operating models that have really governed the way we have served occupiers for the past 50 years. And so now I think there's an opportunity to really bring those insights into a platform just looking to challenge some of those assumptions with technology and with space and different operating models.
So you kind of beat me to my question, but what attracted you to WeWork? I mean,
I think it's just phenomenal to still be at a point in my life and career where I think I've got a lot more to give, and to do that on a platform that's progressive and innovative and it's not afraid to take chances and has the capital to move on that. That's a really interesting combination. I mean, I think I've always been attracted to challenger brands, right? Just to kind of state the obvious there when I think about where I've worked. People who've always wanted to do things different. And I think now there's an opportunity to have the resources, the platform, the momentum to really do it. And that's really exciting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. How do you see this growing? I mean, it's still early days. But,
the company is, you guys read the press, you can see for yourself, it's really doing some amazing things. And I spent a number of months before I even went there just saying, is this real? Like, I think a lot of people wonder what's really behind the curtains. And if you're ever in New York, come to Chelsea, come to our HQ, you'll see like the elves are running around. This is amazing, the magic that's being created in this place. But the organization is doubled. We now have 1,000 enterprise clients, 1,000 corporate clients. And we didn't even have this business 2 years ago. So we've almost had 200% growth. So the pent-up demand for occupiers to have flexibility to have this is something that I don't even think we were expecting. Now, if you think about our portfolio now, well over 300 locations around the globe, we are expecting to continue growing rapidly. I can't say what we're going to do, but I'll tell you that the amount of growth has just been amazing. We added like 3,000 people just in the last year, just to give you some sense of the growth that we're experiencing. And that's just, kind of the core WeWork business. You've got We Grow, we've launched a school, We Live, the residential product. And so you think about all of the ways in which you might impact the human experience. Work is only one way. So I think Adam Newman and Miguel's vision is that we're being thoughtful about how we ultimately impact the human experience in all walks and areas of life.
That's really cool. And what's, I think, particularly interesting and particularly unique about your role, so we talk about the footprint and the people, but we're talking about expanding that beyond just the physical space that WeWork's leasing.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
I mean, look, we're here in GLL's headquarters, so thanks to them for hosting us, and it was one of their studies that said, you know, on average, an occupier is probably not going to share more than 20-30% of their portfolio. So the co-working kind of market cap, if that is true, if you believe that, would suggest that there's limits to how much you could grow the core WeWork offering, which is we go long on space and we create flexibility, and people are able to come in and have that on a short-term basis. So the other 70% represents a big opportunity for WeWork.
Yep.
You know, our TAM now is let's address the entire share of pocket as it relates to real estate spend.
Got it. And you're uniquely positioned to do that. So.
Well, I don't know, but I'm there, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Cool. So there's a lot of innovators in the room tonight. There's some service providers. There's a couple occupiers as well. I think I counted actually 2. But what advice do you have as a veteran in the industry, as someone who's now thinking progressively as part of a startup company? What advice do you have to the innovators to gain traction and to think about where we're going?
I think this is a moment in time that we must capitalize on and seize. For years and years, we'd go to the CREtech conferences, and you know from your old days, and the conversations and panels will be, how do we get a seat at the table? How do we get real estate to be taken seriously? And now you've got billions of dollars, literally I think over 12 billion just in the past few years going into real estate tech. A lot of that's coming from non-real estate capital. I mean, these are people who are studying really fast-growing and exciting industries. You're saying, we see something here in the real estate space. And so really smart capital is starting to look at innovation. So I think that's a great opportunity for innovators just to be bold and kind of tap into that. I think for people who have built their businesses on the old operating models, embrace change. Let's not be afraid of it. Let's not resist it. And I think the idea that there's going to only be 1 or 2 companies who are going to benefit from this wave of innovation, I think is just false. I think everyone needs to be thinking about how do we bring bits and pieces of innovation into our operating model, the way we build and manage buildings, the way we lease, the way we service customers. So I think this is just really an opportunity for everyone to reflect, what does innovation look like in my space, in my swim lane, in my company? And I think to be inspired by all of the companies that are doing amazing things. I look around and I look at what's VTS and Honest Buildings and all of the great folks who are just doing exciting stuff in this space, and I'm cheering them on because I think this is a situation where we need everyone to win. I want Fifth Wall to do amazingly well, because if that fund does well, then there'll be more funds, right?
Yep.
And so I think this is really an opportunity for us to embrace change, and let's make sure it works.
I don't think we could end on a better note. Thank you.